Yo, yo, what is good, y'all? Happy Saturday. How are my peoples doing this morning? Beautiful morning here in Southern California, finally. I love it. Finally, I'm able to put my hoodie on, put my sweatpants on, sit here and chill in the chilliness, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, I actually have a little bit more time to blab this morning than I have been lately. I'm gonna leave the house at 8 o'clock. It's 7:05 a.m. right now here in SoCal. Hang on a second. Hold up, y'all. Hang on. Oops, hang on, that's not the right one. Hang on a second. Hold up. There's a couple of you. How you doing? What's up, y'all? Howdy doody. Hang on a second. I'm gonna post this. All right. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Howdy doody. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I know that kind of bummed me out that it waited until after Christmas to get chilly. That bummed me out, dude. I was pissed, but whatever. I mean, I think I kind of figured out like what the issue was. Like, this is still our first year here, and it doesn't really feel like home yet. Like, not that at home feeling that I had in Vegas. And thinking back, really thinking back, and I actually watched a few of my old videos from back in Vegas. My first year there, I didn't like it there either. I didn't like it in Vegas. I forgot about that. I forgot that it was after the first year that we lived there that I really started feeling at home. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe that's got something to do with it because moving here was a challenge, dude. It was a challenge. I think I talked about that in one of the other videos that for some reason the property managers were just playing this game where they would just get as many people to apply as possible. And then they would just tell you, they'd be like, okay, we're going to move forward with you. I love your application, And then they text you a couple hours later, we rented it out to somebody else. It's like, what fucking game are y'all playing, dude? And that just went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So finally, this was just the first place that would let us in, and we jumped on it, So we don't really feel at home yet. So maybe when March rolls around, hopefully we'll start feeling a little bit more at home and comfortable here. But I think that was the main reason why I had a hard time feeling the holiday vibes here. But yes, it being warm kind of killed it, man. It was so hard to feel those fucking holiday vibes, dude. But whatever, it's all good. It wasn't even for this year too. It wasn't that hard. Usually, the past few years in Vegas, when it's time to take the Christmas decorations down, it's like, oh my God, no, it's over. Anyway, it wasn't that big of a deal this year. It was like, all right, let's just get 2024 here. Let's get this shit up and rolling. Ready to get the year of the dragon here. Come on, let's get this shit. Let's get it, man. So anyway, yeah, I'm in SoCal. Yes. I am in SoCal. We moved here from Las Vegas. Well, we've bounced around a lot. When me and Leah first met, I was living up in Idaho. She's from here. So she was born and raised here in SoCal. She left SoCal and I was in Idaho at the time. That's not where I'm from, but we got together up there and we were living in hotels together while we were trying to find a place there. We just couldn't find a place. No place, we just couldn't find a place up there. And finally, she just woke up one day and said, you want to go to Arizona? I said, hell yeah, I want to go to Arizona. I fucking love Arizona. So we just put the few things that we had in the car and booked it down to Arizona. And in less than 1 week, we ended up in a fully furnished 1-bedroom apartment. And then we were there for about how long was that? Maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 months, the last half of 2019. And then we end up getting my kids back. So January 1st, New Year's Day 2020, we were flying to Louisville to pick my kids up. And then, but we only had a 1-bedroom apartment. So we had to get the kids their own room. We just had blow-up mattresses on the floor in the living room for the kids. So we jumped real quick into this little, I mean, at least they had their own room, but it was this teeny cramped little like 2 or 3 bedroom apartment, something like that there in Arizona. And it was just too much for a family to be in that little apartment. You know, we had to get the kids their own room, and, you know, so we were in there for a few months, and then we started looking for a house. And this was right when the lockdowns first started happening. Within the first few months of 2020, around February, March, you know, we start looking everywhere for a house, everywhere, all up and down Arizona, fucking everywhere. Finally, she said, well, what do you think about Vegas? I said, I don't give a shit where we move. She said, there's this house in Vegas that I think is going to let us in. I said, fucking go for it, dude. I don't care. So that was just the first house that would let us in there in Vegas. And we ended up planting roots there for 3 years. 3 years. And then I felt the intuitive call to expand my career. Spent all of 2022 knocking on doors. And then finally a door opened at the end of 2022. And what I mean by that is 11 p.m. New Year's Eve night. The door opened for me to move here. And mainly the only thing that brought me here was to expand my business, to expand my career. And so far, that seems to be panning out very beautifully. Very beautifully. It was a challenge for the first year. 2023 sucked. I'm not going to lie. 2023 sucked. It was just a difficult adjustment after uprooting from, you know, a place where we were comfortable and happy and peaceful, and uprooting from all that and just moving it here. That was a really hard adjustment. And I think my daughter enjoyed it though. Well, of course, my youngest daughter back last summer went to go live with her mom. So that was another big change that happened. Because without putting too much personal business out there, their mom was not in a good place in life. So that's why I got the kids, and she started really seriously straightening her life out, and had been straightening her life out for over a year, and ended up having another baby. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Okay. So my youngest daughter really, really missed her mom. So we finally said, okay, well, we'll take you to go visit her for the summer. How about that? And then finally, everything just seemed to be going so smooth that I said, well, do you want to come home, or would you rather stay with your mom? She says, I want to stay here. I said, okay, well, as long as your mom has, you know, been straightening her life out and is doing good for herself, I don't care where you live. You can live wherever you want, you know? So that was another big adjustment that happened this year. And last year, sorry. I keep thinking this is still 2023. 2023 was just a big, big transformational year. It was that period when you're transitioning, you know, to a new level, that can very frequently, when you start a new cycle, I tell you all this shit all the time. Starting a new cycle at first can be extremely fucking uncomfortable when you start a new cycle. Very frequently. It's not uncommon when everything changes. Everything changes. Like everything, the whole dynamic of a whole new chapter, whole new cycle begins. When it first begins, it is not uncommon at all for that not to be fucking fun. You know, especially if it's a new cycle where you're leveling up, which that's what this has been. Very, very frequently, and in a vast majority of cases, before you level up, you're going to be put through challenges, obstacles, or at the very least, it's just going to be extremely uncomfortable at the very least. At the very least, you know, because it's preparing you for that next level. You know, whenever you go to level up, that next level is going to demand a different version of you. I tell you all that shit all the time. And you've been watching me go through it. The next level is going to demand a different version of you. How do you become a different version of you? How do you do that? How do you become a different person? By stepping outside of your comfort zone and staying there until it becomes comfortable. That's how you become a different person. Because that's rewriting your brain when you do that. Because, you know, when you step outside your comfort zone, you're going against your psychological program. So it's uncomfortable. So your brain and your subconscious mind and your whole neural network is going to be firing off like crazy, telling you to run back to what's comfortable, to what you're used to what you're familiar with. Well, if you refuse to do that and you just stay put and you stay consistent, eventually the brain's going to stop firing that way and it's going to start reorganizing itself and it's going to start firing new connections. And then that's when you're outside of your comfort zone and then it starts to become comfortable. Your brain is like, okay, well, this is pointless. I guess we're not going back to that. So let me unwire that program and wire to this program. Now you're becoming a different version of you. Does this make sense? You know when I learned that? You know how I learned that? Living under a bridge. That's how I learned that. I haven't told this story in a couple of years. I don't know how many new faces we have on here, but I learned that when I was living under a bridge because I spent like a year, 2 years, like terrified of going homeless and losing everything. Finally, long story short, it happened. And I ended up laying down up under a bridge on my couch cushion with a little blanket. And I'll never forget, I was just looking at the bottom of the bridge, hearing the cars going, and I was so fucking crushed and devastated, dude. I was so humiliated. I was like, I cannot fucking believe my life has come to this, you know? And then fast forward, like 3-4 months, something like that. I'm sitting up under the same bridge, drinking a fucking half gallon of vodka with my buddy. And then something clicked. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm becoming comfortable with this. I'm getting used to this. This is starting to become my new norm. This is starting to become second nature. 4 months ago, I was so uncomfortable, I couldn't live in my own skin. Now, this is becoming the new me. And I was thinking, I was like, whoa, well, you know what? If I can become comfortable doing this, I can become comfortable doing anything. That's when it fucking clicked. That's when it clicked. That's when I made the decision. It wasn't, let's see, maybe 6 weeks later that I climbed out from under that bridge, walked into a homeless shelter, and have been climbing the mountain ever since. And that's the way it works, man. That's the reason why I make it such a strong point to try to help guide people through tough shit, you know? Because all we're afraid of is being uncomfortable. We're so afraid of being uncomfortable. Don't be afraid of that, dude. Don't be afraid of that. See, this is what I tell people all the time. The pain and discomfort of making a change is temporary. But that pain and that discomfort of staying stuck in the same spot is permanent. It's permanent. Think about that. That's why I say you every time. I don't care what year we're in. I mean, we all know 2024 is going to be a different year anyway, but regardless, you really want the new year to be that year that really makes that change. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable all year. You have to be willing to say, okay, this year is going to suck. This year is going to suck. I'm going to make it suck. Like say you want to get in shape. Say you want to get in shape. Start going to the gym. I am going to be in so much pain all year long. You have to be willing to say that. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. It may happen, it may not, but you have to go into it willing to make it suck. You have to be ready and willing to say, okay, you know what? 2024 is going to be fucking horrible. It's going to suck. Every day, I'm going to have to get up and go into that gym and hurt my body and put myself through pain every single day. Not just in January, not just in February, but March, April, May. Fuck, man. Even in fall, Halloween, it's still going to suck. It's going to suck all year. You have to be willing to say that. Now, does it happen that way? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does not. Hey, sometimes you go into it with that mentality. Look, this year is going to suck. And it doesn't. It might not suck. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe your brain starts firing off and wiring new connections within the matter of a couple of months. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it is really hard, but you have to go into it with that willingness. I don't care how bad this sucks. I'm staying put in this routine until it becomes comfortable. That's what you have to be willing to do, dude. And that's just all there is to it. Anyway, man, I'm babbling. This is why I like getting on here and doing this in the mornings, because it's getting my brain fired up. This is why I like doing this, man. What's up, Netherlands in the house? What is up, y'all? Howdy doody. Howdy doody. Oh, yeah, I did share this, didn't I? Right on, right on. Well, I'll probably be able to stay on here for a full hour this morning. Very likely. Anyway, though, yeah. Oh, but 2024 is going to be, well, you know, when it comes to a year like this, it's going to be different anyway. It's going to be different whether you're ready or not. So your willingness to put yourself in those difficult, uncomfortable situations and relax is gonna really be an asset to you in 2024 and 2025. It's going to be a major asset to you. But like the doors that are opening for me now, man, I wish I could talk about it. I wish I could tell y'all what I have planned, man. Fucking, it's amazing, because if those doors had really started opening earlier, there's no way. There's no way those doors, the doors that are opening for me now, if they would have opened a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I wouldn't have been able to do it. So 2023 makes sense. Remember how I tell y'all all the time? I tell y'all all the time. One, you have to be willing to say one of these days what I'm going through right now is going to make sense. You have to be willing to hold on to that. If you can hold on to that, not just for a month, not just for 2 months, 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years. One of these days, this is going to make sense. One of these days, this is going to make sense. It's going to make sense one day. I promise you that. Promise you that. Every time. What you have to do is you have to connect to that future timeline where it does make sense and work backwards. Like say for example, today YouTube crashes. YouTube crashes. That's a big old chunk of my income. My YouTube check is a huge chunk of my income. Most people would freak the fuck out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, I would immediately be skipping a year, 2 years, 3 years into the future in my mind. And I'm going to connect to that version of myself who's looking back on YouTube crashing and telling it as part of my success story. That's what I'm doing immediately. This is how you play with the quantum field. This is how you play with timelines. You don't try to figure out how to make it happen. You just connect and stay connected to the future that you want. And you look back in the past at you now. And this is how you connect. I've been doing this since I lived in a homeless shelter, dude. Promise you. So I'm immediately going to be in the future. When in the future, I don't know. 2 years from now, 5 years from now. But I'm in the future and I'm looking back on me now as if I'm looking back in the past. And I'm imagining telling the story. Man, this one time fucking YouTube crashed and it freaked me out. It was crazy. But that was so fucking amazing. It was a blessing in disguise. Because if YouTube hadn't crashed, then this wouldn't have happened. And then this wouldn't have happened. And then I ended up blowing up and being more fucking successful than I've ever been in my life. And I'm connected to that. I'm creating that feeling. I'm holding that feeling. This is happening for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but it's happening for a reason. And you got to hold that, dude. You got to hold that. You don't just say that affirmation a couple of times and wait for the results. And if things don't get better, you give up on it. I'm talking every single day. If something bad happens today, I can't wait until I find out why this is happening. And then something bad happens again tomorrow. Man, I can't wait until the day comes that I find out why this had to happen. And then something bad happens the day after that. Man, God damn, this horrible shit keeps happening. I can't wait until the day comes that I understand why all this was meant to happen. That sounds easy to say it. It sounds easy to talk about it. But when you're living it, when you're going through it, it's not that easy. This is a trust-based path and a spiritual path, trusting the universe. A relationship with the universe is a trust-based process. Trust-based. Trust-based. Trust means I really don't have it figured out. I don't. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow or how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. But I'm trusting that no matter what happens tomorrow, it's part of the process. It's part of the journey. Again, it sounds easy. It's real easy to sit and talk about it, but it's real fucking hard to hold that when you're going through it. It's tough, man. It's tricky. It's tricky, but that's a spiritual path. That's a real spiritual path. Is when you trust the universe and you trust what's happening. Now, here's the funny thing too. When you're able to hold that vibration and something crazy does start popping off, shit does hit the fan, things start crashing and burning around you, and you're able to hold that, the universe will pick you up and carry you through it. Pick you up and carry you straight through it. The universe behaves like water. It lifts those up who make themselves light and drowns those who make themselves heavy. And again, I know it's easy to sit here and talk about whenever, everything's going good and you're comfortable and everything's going. It's easy to sit here and talk about. But trust me, when you're going through it, your ability to relax and float to the top is where your power is. When the shit starts hitting the fan, that's your superpower, your ability to relax and float to the top. Because Everybody around you ain't going to be doing that. No. Overwhelming majority of people around you, when things are going crazy, when shit's popping off, everybody's freaking out and they're in fear, or they're pissed off, or they're angry, or, and they're sinking to the bottom. Because those low, dense, heavy, thick vibrations, you'll sink to the bottom. I know somebody's going to need to hear this here in the next 6 months to a year. That's probably another reason why the universe is motivating me to get on here and do this more. I used to do this shit every morning. So anyway, it's getting my brain good and fired up. Give you a hint what, as far as what I'm doing here. I mean, if you go to expand your career and you move to Southern California for career opportunities, what do you think I'm doing? Come on, man. You don't move to Southern California for business to fucking pick shit with a chicken. I live 20-30 minutes away from LA. Come on, man. Come on now. What do you think I'm doing? Anyway, we're going to make spirituality mainstream. That's what we're going to do. That's the goal for 2024. Oh, and the fucking Texas event. Dude, that thing's almost sold out now. The event that Rion and Team Light is having there in Austin, Texas, on the day of the eclipse, right there at the spot of the eclipse, the X spot, right there in Texas. He's holding this event. And me and David are going to be speaking. We're going to be doing an episode of the Awakening Experience there. It's going to be this huge fucking event where this whole big resort is rented out. And it's already almost sold out. I'm like, oh shit. I was at in the studio with David on Wednesday, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, that fucking event is like over halfway sold out now. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? How the fuck did that happen? That's going to be a big one. So, and we got big old ass plans for 2024, yo. Spreading the tentacles of spirituality into all areas of life. Because here's the problem. The issue is that the spiritual community is just another little sectioned off clique and group, just like all the other little cliques and groups out there. All the other cliques and groups are separated out, and they're divided by things like how you dress, like how you talk, the type of music that you listen to, and the kind of car that you drive, and the kind of clothes that you wear, and your appearance. And, every little clique is divided by, all this little bullshit. Spirituality has nothing to do with any of that, but they're trying to turn it into that. They're trying to turn the spiritual community into just another little clique where you dress a certain way and you act a certain way and you eat certain foods and you listen to certain music, and they're trying to just turn it into just another little separated, segregated community, just like everything else that divides humans. When true spirituality is an understanding of the energetic apparatus that is the life experience that you're in, the understanding of it. Doesn't fucking matter what you wear. Doesn't fucking matter how you look. Doesn't fucking matter how you were raised or where you're from, what kind of car you drive, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of food you eat, what kind of music you listen to. It doesn't fucking matter. A true spiritual path, true spirituality is understanding who you really are, understanding what your energy is and what creates the experience that you're having. You are a spiritual being radiating vibrations that communicate to this matrix that you're in. You radiate vibrations, the matrix gives you an experience that harmoniously resonates with the vibrations that you're giving it. To dumb it down and make it really simple. And understanding how that works, how that functions. Understanding it's no different than going to college for auto mechanics so that you can understand how the mechanics of a car works, to understand how an engine works, to understand how a transmission works, how the chassis works. Why would you want to know how this works? So you can fix it when it breaks. That's why. So that if you're experiencing something in your life that you don't like, you can get to the source of the problem yourself so that you can figure out how to fix your problems in life, so that you can figure out how to take a timeline that aligns with what it is that you're actually wanting. That's a true spiritual path, and it needs to be made mainstream. That's the solution to the problem. That's the solution to the planet being so spiritually dead asleep, or just so lost down the wrong path, still stuck in the same spot. How many people right now, January, 6th? Is this January 6th? How many people right now are saying the same thing that they were saying last January 6th, the January 6th before that, 5 January 6th ago? Oh man, I hope this year is going to be different. And they're still sitting in the same spot. They haven't seen a change. They haven't seen anything improve. How many people do you think are actually a different person than who they were a few years ago? How many? If you're one of them, you're one of the few. You're one of the few. Most people don't change. They don't evolve. They don't grow because they don't know how. It's not their fault. I'm not talking down on them. They don't know how. They don't understand how. Because, we were born into and brought up in a system that has conditioned us to get all of our information from certain sources, and they molded and shaped our perception of life and reality for the first 7 years of our life. And that's the program we've been running on since we were little kids. And unwiring that program and rewiring a new program is extremely fucking uncomfortable. So the majority of us who are on a spiritual path, how did we get there? How did we get there? How did you get on your spiritual path? I bet you I know how you got on your spiritual path. Bet you. Something bad happened, didn't it? Something bad happened. You weren't happy with your life. You weren't comfortable. Everything wasn't going perfect. You didn't wake up one day and say, man, you know what? I'm the happiest fucking human being that ever walked the face of this earth. My fucking love life is great. Money's looking good. I got lots of friends. I got a beautiful house. I got a lovely family. You know what? I'm just going to, for fucking hell of it, I'm just going to completely rip all my belief systems apart and replace them for something else. I just want to completely get rid of everything that I thought I knew. And adapt some new belief systems because that sounds like that'd be fun. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened, was it? No, it wasn't. What happened was universe kept kicking you down and kicking you down and kicking you down and kicking you down and applying pressure and applying pressure and applying pressure and applying pressure until you fucking broke. Until you snapped and you hit rock bottom. That's what happened, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's what happened to all of us. So, most people get through life barely skating by. Just barely skating by so that they don't slip and fall and make it down to rock bottom. So, since completely rewiring your program is so fucking uncomfortable, most people don't do it. They don't do it unless they're forced to. All right? I didn't. I didn't. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird. For me, it was kind of weird because it wasn't until I was at rock bottom that I was given the information, which is kind of weird, you know? Like some of y'all who have heard my story, you know that I found the law of attraction by accident when I lived in a homeless shelter. I was living in a homeless shelter when I found the law of attraction. I had never heard of it before. Now, if I was living a comfortable life, everything was going good, I'm in a happy marriage, got a good job, nice house, new car, everything's going smooth, everything's going good, everything's comfortable, and I saw this law of attraction thing, I would have scrolled right past that like that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. The only reason I became so addicted to it is because I was at rock bottom. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. You mean to tell me that all this shit I've been experiencing, I have the power to change it? Are you fucking kidding me? Just by rearranging the way that I think? You mean to tell me that all I have to do is train my brain to think differently and my life will start changing? Shit, watch me. Watch me. Watch me. What do I have to lose? I've already been drugged through the 7 pits of hell. I've already been on death's door for like the last 6 months, living under bridges, starving to death, diving in dumpsters to try to find food and shit, you know, drinking a gallon of vodka a day. What's it gonna hurt? You know? So, anywho, I'm just kind of babbling and rambling. This is why I love getting on here in the mornings, dude. I love it. Love it. Anywho. Yeah. Yes, this is going to be a good day, man. I'm getting pumped up and fired up. There's a couple of you up in here. This is the way I like it, man. And this was my weekend routine back in 2021, something like that. Somewhere in there. But here in a couple of minutes, I am going to be going ahead and jumping on out of here, though. I'm going to run to the store. I'm getting hungry as fuck, too. Getting hungry. Leah doesn't want me to wake her up on the weekends. And for some reason, my brain is starting to wire itself back into my old routine where I wake up at 5 a.m. I was complaining. I'm like, man, why have I been sleeping in for the last few months? I love to be up anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30 a.m., somewhere in there. And for the longest time, my brain would snap me awake somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30 a.m., anywhere in there. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, fired up, ready to go. And for like the last 6 months, I've been sleeping in till like 7, 8. Just like, can't drag myself up out of bed, you know? So I'm starting to get my old routine back. Anyway, hope y'all have a good Saturday. At some point, let me see. I don't know how many readings I have today. Let me go see. Hang on. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. I only have one. Ooh. Yes. I only have one fucking reading today. Watch me jinx myself every time I say that. And I get all excited. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I don't have that much work today. Then Leah's like, no, I got like 4 readings I have to print out for you. I'm like, fuck. So far, though, it looks like I have an extremely light day as far as personal readings go. So that means I can focus a lot more on my main channel. It means I can focus a lot more on the public videos, you know. If you ever see me go like a day, 2 days without doing anything on my main big YouTube channel, it's because I'm sitting up there doing personal readings all fucking day. You know, it's really difficult to balance both of them at the same time. But so far, I only have one printed out, but I got 3 fucking Zoom calls tomorrow. They all came in back to back to back, all on the same day for some reason. So anyway, yeah, I got to get the weekend forecast. Or actually, I've been thinking about rearranging that. I've been thinking about doing something a little bit different with my weekly forecast because for the past few months, it's been difficult keeping that up and keeping that going. And I have a bunch other of the all sign videos that I've been kind of leaving out because I have a list of them that I like to do. Their true feelings and intentions. Will they reach out? What are the others? I have like a few others. And I'm thinking about instead of doing like the weekend forecast, because I mean, we're just doing a read for a couple of days. You know what I mean? I want to do something like on the weekend, I want to do something that's like bigger and more meaningful than that. You know, like will they reach out or next person coming in, something like that, something bigger and more meaningful, you know? So that's probably what I'm going to be doing for 2024. And then weekly forecast, obviously, either on Sunday or Monday, you know? So that's what I got going on today. And then let's see, I just finished the bonuses. So what's next? Extended readings. Extended is next. Let's see if I get started on the extendeds now. Ooh, that'd be perfect. Well, if I get started on the extended readings on Monday, that'll be perfect. And I'll get done with those perfectly in time for the mid-months. Okay, cool. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and jump on out of here. I greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening to me blab and run my mouth. I got something I got to get out and do, and I got to eat breakfast. But I will see y'all some point, on my main channel later on today. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day.